Otherwise we can...
Charlie? Charlie? Oh, sorry. Not too bad at all.
I'd like to ask a question in relation to the water meters. Can anyone tell me when exactly they're going to be installed? If anyone can look at me. Anything at all? I'd like to know when somebody's going to come to my house and put a water meter out the front.
Right. No, I didn't know.
Are you going to pay for fluoride?
Right, okay. Okay.
No answers, no?
Okay, good.
What's the question? I made answer for you.
Ask
it again. Ask the question again.
Doesn't even know when they're going to.
I want to know when the water meters are going to be installed. I know it's roughly July, but I would like to know when they're coming to Balbay.
Well, on behalf of the council, we're keeping it a secret. We're going to sneak in around your houses and probably in the dark of night. Yeah?
Or early in the morning.
In relation to the septic tanks, we're going to put very high expenses on the people, but we haven't told you the rest of it. Every year we're going to come around and charge for inspection these septic tanks. Now, we haven't told people that yet. We're going to introduce it in a sort of way that it's another EEC rule.
Maybe we should go to America.
Water meters as well. Is that going to private company?
Your water's going to be, everything's going to be private.
In this country. I mean, are you not ashamed of yourself as Irish people?
We have no shame on behalf of the council. We have no shame. On behalf of the coalition government, we have no shame.
Ask the Yanks.
We have no shame. The coalition government has no shame. We have no shame whatsoever.
Well, I would just like to say thanks very much for answering me.
On behalf of Pat Rabbit and Enda Kenny, I can tell you that we in the coalition government have no shame whatsoever.
Now, John, you're not giving anyone a chance to answer me. Then. You're not giving anyone a chance to answer me.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I feel that is not right of Donegal County Council.
I'm not including all Donegal County Council. I'm just saying.
Oh, some of you,
the government, the coalition government.
I know some of you are. I know some of you are good, but there's some bad apples as well. But I mean, why are you doing this to the people?
We're doing what Europe tells us.
Right. Also, Europe. So is Europe going to dictate to us then? So we have to go down to bow down to Europe. So if Europe says jump, we say how high?
I have one more question. If going to America is so if going to America is so important, nice holiday, can you not pay for it out of your own wages?
Of course.
24,000 to send 4 people to America, 24,000.
Draining valuable money out of Donegal.
How many councillors here would like expenses for today?
They're the snakes that St. Patrick put out of the country. That's why they go to America.
Snakes.
As no councillor in this chamber going to answer any question. What about Mr. Campbell, Mr. McGarvey? You're independent. Just some of you, any of you. Nobody. Mr. Campbell.
No, they're
no
not.
Answer to
We're directing no questions at the government.
Well, I'm asking you now directly, or Mr. McGarvey sitting beside you. When's the meters going to be installed? How long is it going to take? Is it going to create jobs? What's it going to do?
No, I don't think it will.
This is all nice people.
Well, what? Create jobs?
One person at a time.
It'll create a couple of short-term jobs, but very little long-term.
When did it propose to start?
Companies like Lang O'Rourke, like Veolia, that's who will make the profit.
When did it start?
They don't know, and the reason they don't know is that the pressure, the consistent pressure that's been put on by ordinary citizens through campaigns such as yourselves has forced them to put it back because they know they're going to meet absolute resistance when it comes to installing water.
Thank you.
Maybe I could get a response as well. When I applied for my house and it was passed and everything, and I was given guidelines for the septic tank, which I carried out to the best of my ability. So if these inspectors come around now and they say they failed my septic tank, well, I feel it's Donegal County Council's job to put it right at their cost, not mine. So what have you have you anything to?
Well, I suppose the way it's set up and the planning permission, that wouldn't be the case. What I have said and what others have said is that we won't register our septic tanks and we won't pay for the upgrade until there's a proper scheme brought in, a fully funded scheme, not this Phil Hogan €4,000, 80% scheme, but very little detail. I mean, that's been thrown out in the media in the wake of them getting fined 12 grand a day. By the time they published the septic tank inspection, after 62 days, it cost us €744,000 in fines, outside of the 2 million that they have already fined us for non-compliance. For any government, TD or politician to talk about the great work they've done, this thing was there since '75, for anyone from any of the previous governments to talk about it. I think we all want clean water, we all want that system in there. But what's very noticeable even about the septic tank legislation, or the inspection plan that they brought out, it also tells us that they could have conducted, and they have conducted in the past, previously conducted inspections of septic tanks where there's been a specific problem identified. They didn't need to bring in this new legislation to bring in a proper inspection system. They could have done that under the existing legislation. This was brought in as a money-raising effort. And what we see from it is that they're telling us that 1,000 inspections will take place this year. With over 600,000 septic tanks in the country, it means on that rate of going, it's going to take about 600 years to inspect every septic tank. In Donegal, where we have over 50,000 septic tanks, outside of being told by the LGMA that there's only 33,000, you're talking about 80 inspections, 620 years to inspect all the septic tanks. So if it was really about clean water, and that, I think your inspection system would have to be a lot more robust than that.
So what happens to people if they have to upgrade their septic tank and they can't, and they have to pay out 10,000 and they don't have the money? What's going to happen then to them people? Are they going to be prosecuted, or if they just simply don't have the money to upgrade, what's going to happen then?
I think that there's very little detail on that. Once again, they can't tell you what.
There's not a lot they can do, is there?
Very little. If you can't pay, you can't pay.
You can't take blood out of the stove.
They have to put you on the street because they will say that the house is not suitable to live on.
Just a question for you there too, please. I've been involved in construction work probably from the late 1960s, probably in the wheelbarrow end, if you know what I mean, getting the stuff there. But one thing I've seen through the years, and right up until that previous boom there that was there, there's absolutely no regulation. These developers can go out and they can build whatever the hell they like, and whatever way they like. And that's the quality of work that's been turned out there. And the council surely to God have to take some blame for not regulating these things. Absolutely. And seeing that this has been going on for years. And I've seen jobs produced myself that are a bloody disgrace. You know, a bloody disgrace, and all it was about was some developer going in there and hoping to make a few fast bob, you know, and he couldn't care less about the poor couple that's going out to buy this property, you know. There's some of them out there disgrace, and I honestly think that the county council should be more involved. I worked in Northern Ireland for years, and any job that we were ever on, the last one we were on, there was 300 houses on it. There was 2 clerical works. From the day that site started until the day it finished, which was 2.5 years, 2 clerical works. Out here, there's absolutely nothing. Nothing. Pardon?
No, we're being made to pay.
Of course. For shoddy work. Not all of it, a lot of it. But there should be some sort of, you know, people should be, all the work should be inspected. And I think the council should be responsible for that. Fair play to you. You're the only man in this bunch here that's pleased.
The only way this property tax can be dealt with is repeal the property tax. We have to repeal the property tax.
Yes.
So and there is a motion going forward on the law, and that has to be supported by all parties. The revenue, you can't beat the revenue, so it has to be repeal the property tax bill. So we have to go to our local politicians and our local councillors, our local TDs, and ask them to support this bill that will be going forward on the Dáil. And that's the only one way that we can beat the property tax, is beat it on the Dáil. Put it under legislation. This is not the time to do it. This is not the time to put in a property tax. Why was this not done? Well, broaden the tax when the money was there, and the 2005 or whatever. Why is this done now when everybody's on their knees? But people have 50 euros left at the end of the month after they've all their essentials. With children going to bed hungry, with children going to bed cold, people sitting on their houses putting on scarves, putting on coats because they can't afford to put on the heating. Like, the councillors aren't listening to it. The politicians aren't listening. There are some councillors listening, and there are some politicians listening. But people, Enda Kenny goes on, and the Magdalene women, I was in prime time, and very, 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 very good cause. Enda Kenny goes on and crocodile tears, and he talks about the darkest 10 minutes before midnight, the darkest hour. What about the people in here, darkest hour? There is a lot of people out there. But I don't think politicians and councillors have realised the amount. It's seething under them. Seething. There's middle class people who were used to be called middle class. School teachers, guards. They're basically struggling to survive. This is not just a small, as Margot said earlier, this is just not a small group of people out here for a day trip. The House of Cards is collapsing. And everybody's sitting in chambers like this all over the country, and nobody's listening to people. Listen to, go out onto the street and listen to the people. Listen to their suffering. This is not a game. Everybody's sitting here with their microphones in front.